Hey besties, it's your girl Finance Muslima, your favorite money mindset coach. I'm here with my friend.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Jamil Kendall.
So let's talk. We want to talk today. We want to chat. Um, let's talk about the importance business owners play in the community. I want to hear how you feel about this. How do you feel about that? What impact does business owners have in the community?
Well, I think the impact is huge, right? Because it could be a positive impact or it could be a negative impact. Um, if you think, let's just start from a negative standpoint, right? When you look at middle to lower class or, low moderate income areas, what do you see a lot of, right? You see a lot of liquor stores, you see a lot of clubs, you see a lot of churches, right? And to
That's true.
add a church or, as a negative, not necessarily a negative thing, but what I'm saying is that the impact is huge because depending on what you put in a community, it shapes the community.
That's true.
I think that from the positive standpoint, one of the reasons why you look at all of Fortune 500 companies and even Fortune 100 companies, one of the main things they talk about is diversity, inclusion, and then community outreach. Because they
Hmm.
understand that in order to really just have that type of impact, you have to be where the people are. And it don't always have to be the people that's going to be potential clients or customers, whatever the case may be. It's people who live in that neighborhood, those communities that's going to be affected by the buildings, the traffic.
That's true.
If you look at any of these other companies, not to name them, but sometimes when these companies decide to have headquarters in certain places, it automatically creates thousands of jobs. They get
Yep.
billion-dollar
Yep.
tax write-offs, and they get a bunch of stuff. So I think
And then, not to cut you off, but it also shifts to real estate. So I feel like
absolutely,
that's what's going on here in Charlotte. So
yeah. So on a more positive note, and on a lesser scale, meaning not like the Fortune 500 companies, because there's only 500 of those companies in the world, and there's millions of companies outside of that. When you start looking at these grassroots, that's why organizations like nonprofits get so much exposure from the state, federal level funds, and all these other things. It's because when you're in the grassroots, that means that you have the ability to reach people or have a certain type of reach that no government, state, city, or municipality can get to. So they attach themselves to your grassroots organizations because you have certain type of abilities that they don't have the bandwidth for, or they just don't have the reach for, right?
right.
So I think the impact is huge. Now, when you go to small business, it becomes even bigger than that. Ironically enough, because
Hmm.
you have these startup companies who have the most fresh ideas, more thought-provoking ideas that is going to come and change the lives of the people,
The game.
right?
Yeah.
So I feel like big corporation, and this is just me, but big corporation impacts the community as a whole. But I feel like startups and smaller businesses impact the people in the community as a whole directly.
That's true.
Because
I agree.
like I said, big corporations they can affect traffic. Obviously, they can affect the landscape or the trajectory of real estate and things like that nature. But small businesses, nonprofit organizations, they affect the people because why? Typically, we set up organizations on a lower level that directly is for the people,
Consumer.
which is what
Direct to consumer.
we have going on, right? We found out a need in the Charlotte area in terms of what people want to do to maintain, to live, have an alternative reality. Start going towards having some type of financial freedom, right? And I think that one of the important things or the task that we have, an obligation that we have, is to bring our knowledge and expertise to the community
For
because
sure.
we have the ability, our resources and our services, to take a person that works 9 to 5, let's say at an undesirable job, and let them become their own boss and allow them the pathway to hit 6 figures, 7 figures, right? A lot of people, like I said, going back to big corporations, they might have a day where they give out free, or they might have a day where they have certain type of things, but it's
Yeah.
just something to reach out, and
Yeah.
we'll take it, but we're not going to take anything we can get. What we trying to do is we're trying to impact the community on the citizen level. You know what I mean? And
Right.
what are the needs of the people? And that's why I say, the businesses impact the community because we are always trying to figure out what are the needs of the people of this said community. And niching it down, you got women empowerment. I'm dealing with Black entrepreneurs or workers that's looking to transition into entrepreneurship. And I think that from all of the trials, I call them trials, right? So all of the financial advising that we did, understanding what people struggle with financially, what their habits are, what they really goals and dreams is, how to get them to think beyond money, right? So if you didn't have money, what does this look like? And what we did was we created programs for it, and we're going to launch it with our new office in Charlotte. Again, I'm excited about that. Being here is great. A lot of people kind of are open to the idea of some type of financial freedom. So it's great to kind of connect with people that's really looking for us. We just setting the pathway for them, right? We creating an environment for them. And then once they come into our situation, then you're going to start seeing the impact. You're going to start seeing people achieve goals, accomplish things that they probably thought it would take 5-10 years to accomplish, right? But again, this is the type of reach that, businesses have and can impact the community. So,
That's why, so that's why it's super important for business owners to work together. Everybody, brings what they bring to the table and their level of expertise, what we talked about, whether it be tax professional, whether it be marketing, whether it be public relations, PR, whatever the case may be, influencers. We in the finance industry, it don't just have to be finance. Business is so much broader than finance, but I feel like we do create the foundation.
Absolutely.
So to anything, it's going to be the finance, the mindset, and the money. Period.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so the thing for me, I would say now with it 2023, with so many years of experience and going through figuring out what was my lane and what I wanted to do. I would say that the impact that this only brings to the community, I would say that what comes to mind to me from a personal standpoint would be the courage and the braveness and that I had in myself to consistently, relentlessly hit the ground running, even times being without, but making sure I stayed in front of the people. Because now look of the relationships and how it has really the relationships run my business.
Right.
It fuels my business. So it's super important.
Yeah.
It's super important. And I personally feel like I want this for everybody. Everybody that's in business, regardless of what it is that you do. And just understanding and knowing that this thing is far beyond your reach, right? Because building team and growing and expanding and so forth and what we're doing collectively, it takes more people.
Yeah.
From the back end, it's a lot. You'd be like, I want to do it. I used to scream a lot of these things until I really get to know.
Yeah.
And then you got to start playing the game different because now you got to invest in yourself more. I can't do nothing else by myself.
Yeah.
I cannot do nothing else by myself. And I feel like that's a good problem. You don't want to wait until you reach that point like I did to feel like now I got to grow team. I need to collaborate. All these things you hear women collaborate. Also connect with other business owners.
Right.
That's why we're having this conversation and doing what we're doing, because it is so important to connect with other business owners. I think I'm going to say this. I feel like even business owners still operate with a consumer mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that it can mess you up if you're in business and you're still operating with a consumer mindset is because you're not going to be able to value relationships. You're going to be looking at the person in front of you and try to sell them a book, sell them your course, get them into your program. Oh, come to your event. You want to sell. You should just be a salesperson, right? I feel like a lot of business owners that have really, really great, dope things to bring lose themselves and focusing on sales, and they're still operating in a consumer mindset. And I know this because you guys know, I'm super transparent about who I am and living my truth. I used to operate like that.
Right.
And I know for a fact I was operating like that when I had to pay my bills because I needed a sale.
Out of desperation.
Right? Out of desperation. So the thing is for us, friend, let's help get these people out of desperation
Right.
so that they can be able to breathe and get out of the hole so they can breathe and be able to just think farther.
Yeah.
And then when they come into these rooms that we're inviting them in, they can value the person and not just look at them and, oh, I get them to my $30 book. Oh, you need to get into my program. I learned this a long time ago, and thank you for introducing me to life insurance. But what I learned, guys, and it's stuck with me is 2023.
Mhm.
What I learned is that the person that you're in front of is not all the time your person.
Right.
And
Good point.
the person you're in front of is not always your person. And again, it's 2023. These relationships that I have and these things that's going on, I've been wanted. I probably couldn't, wasn't my time.
Right.
Now is the time. But I value people and relationships and businesses so much better now.
Yeah.
Right? And I have throughout the years because how they have changed my life. When we are in a business of service, we live our lives loving what we do, servicing other people in the community and whatever, however that looks. And in return, God feeds your family.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win. So, be of service and you shall eat. Be of service and you shall eat. I don't know, I just made that up. But that's real though.
No, it is.
So I really wanna how can we, well, not how can we, I feel like we already figured it out with our platform and what it is we're doing.
Mhm.
Because my whole thing is to have business owners understand, first and foremost, you have to get yourself out of a hole, right? It wasn't until I got myself out of a hole personally where I could think more creatively. I can value myself more. I can really sit down and say, hey, what are the things I need to tackle to get better? And then I started doing those things in the midst of being out in the community, helping other families.
Right.
So even though you may be a business owner where you're doing 5-6 figures right now and you're cool with that because you're able to get things done, but I can guarantee you got a lot of mindset issues that you run from addressing because the cash flow is simply there.
Yeah.
I know, right? So my big purpose for this collaboration and what it is that we're doing, a lot of business owners themselves need to get out of the hole, figure out what their financial foundation looks like, get out of it, and be not until they're out of their own personal hole will they be able to even accept this information and these resources at this high level that we're bringing to the table.
Yeah, it's important.
Because they can't see it if you're in their own hole.
Yeah.
When you reached out to me years ago and I was in a hole, it wasn't as bad as a hole. By the time you reached out to me, I was getting better.
Yeah.
But I still was in the hole.
Right.
But when you reached out to me and I was in the hole, I was hungry, and then I was like, I trusted you and I trusted it. So I done it. And then I really wasn't starting to see how it was beneficial for me until later, honestly. It was just something like, oh, I trust him. I'm hungry. Let's just go. Right?
Right.
It's you. And then I started to see how it was shifting my life over time. I was able to be in places where other people were running a business, trying to make their income, but also being vulnerable, saying, hey, I got a lot going on too. And I'm like, yo, I'm really not the only one, right? So all of those things was able to help shift and transform me personally. So I feel like that's how I know what works for people.
Right.
Especially in business. I know the environment that it takes. I know the conversation it takes. I know the level of mental capacity that it takes.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of things that we need to work on within ourselves.
Yeah.
Before we can openly be able to say, hey, these guys are bringing some really dope people to this platform, but I can't grasp my mind around how can I make this beneficial to my business until I really get a clear head.
Yeah, and that's my hope, man.
How do you think that's How do you
Yeah.
feel about that?
I mean, so it's, I always tell people, even when I do partnerships, I say I always figure out what the personal issues are. You know what I mean? Because that's a lot of services that I provide that goes directly to personal credit, budgeting, all these types of different things that we can help on the personal side.
Right.
Somebody need a better job, I can help with resumes, like all these different things. Like, what can I do to help to make sure that when we sit in these meetings, these offices, that you're not worrying about once you leave here how you gonna eat. You're not worried about once you leave here how you gonna get to the next 30 days to pay bills. And that's another thing that I'm hoping for in terms of the impact of business owners. Do you know what the word is for when business owners become aligned and unite?
You asking me to know
Yes,
the
do you know?
word? Okay, so what is the word when business owners align
And unite.
and unite?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a particular word,
Conglomerate.
but I could say in my mind with how dope that is visually.
Conglomerate. This is why, the security extraction and different, these things. They block a lot of these things because they look at them as a monopoly. But what they really saying is that we see the power, we see the force in y'all uniting, and we want to make sure that, it's uniting for the good and we're not taking advantage of the clients. You understand what I'm saying? But my hope for this program and this series and having this location in Charlotte, this new office, is that I want the business owners to unite. Because we're not doing this for sales. We hope that that's an indirect cause of why we're doing it. We're doing this strictly to bring resources to the people of Charlotte who we've been sitting with for years and telling us the certain things that they need, and we're going to provide them. And we don't know everything. So we got to bring in other business owners of expertise, and we hope that they can get exposed so they can get some business or whatever the case may be.
And also, we need you to tell us what you need. So if you're watching us live right now in the comments, drop and let me know what it is you feel like you need in your business right now as of today. I don't care. 1, 2, 3 things. Drop in the comments right now if you're watching this. Let me know, what do you feel you need in your business in order to hit your level of success.
Yeah, I mean, that, like I said, that's my main hope. And it'll get better over time. I think we've established everything that we need to establish to make sure this is at least streamlined. We're going to provide the space. That's why we went and got the space. We're going to provide the people, the experts, but we want to know who are your experts.
Yeah, what experts do you need so that we can provide that?
Yeah.
This is going to be a nice sized crowd, but yet very intimate. And if you've been to anything that I do, you're not just getting cute, showing up, coming and take pictures. You're gonna meet people. We're gonna talk. You're gonna learn. We're gonna interact. Because guess what? Time is money. Don't waste your time doing your makeup and doing all this stuff to get in this room, and you have no intention of what you're doing in this room.
Yeah.
I'm very, very big on that. Before I go to any event, before I do anything, before I even commit to something. I just got a phone call earlier. We on the phone in the car. Somebody called. Very great, dope opportunity. Everything has to be intentional for me. Everything has to be intentional. So this right here, what we came up with, money mindset and move CLT, it's very freaking intentional.
Yeah.
And we know what it is we're bringing. We want to know what it is you need, and we need you to show up. And we want to get this work. You're going to get this work. You're going to have the ability to meet some amazing other people in business from the community. If you have any friends that's in business and you feel like y'all need to be around some other type of professionals, then let's do it. That's what this is for. So we want to drop the link so y'all can go ahead and get your tickets. We are applying the pressure for sales because we are capping it out, and it will not be open for very long. It's going to sell out, and we're calling it. And also, the reason that you need to get your tickets now is because the first 20 people that register will gain access to one of my free money bags.
Nice.
Free money bag.
Nice.
I'm not telling you what's in it, but you will gain access to a free money bag. I'm super excited. I can't wait. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, the event is going to be great. I mean, the money bags is going to be crazy. We got some other giveaways too as well.
Yeah.
But most importantly, you want to come so that we can outline what we have for you going forward. And I think that's the thing that I'm most excited about.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna write down on the whiteboard what all the businesses need while we're in the room, no time, and we're gonna deliver. That sound like a plan?
Let's do it.